Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to talk about storage of thread, of needles, keeping the dust and sunlight, being able to find your needles. If you notice on my wall over here, I have thread coverings, and if you stay tuned, I will show you how to make those. But first, we're going to go over different ways that you can store things. First, I want to show you needles. Okay. Art bins are really good to store your needles in. Now, I have my sewing needles in one, and I actually have my quilting needles in another. Let me do this one. I really like these. I've got all my needles in place, okay, and they come with little dividers, so you can divide them up for however you want to. You could put little labels on them to say what they are, but easy access, okay. All my needles are in one place. I actually have some feet in here for my long arm, and you're ready to go. And you're not having to search through a drawer to find, you know, a package of needles when they're all right here. Same thing with my sewing needles. Everything is in here, and I'm ready to go. All my needles are in here, okay? So I've got one central location, and these are art bins. I just bought them at Joann Fabrics. They work really well. Okay, so now let's talk about thread, okay? The sun and dust are not good friends of your thread, all right? This bobbin fell behind my cabinet, and when I was cleaning was when I found it. If you look at it, you can see, there you go, you can see the dust on it, okay? I wouldn't dare put this through my machine, okay? It's going through the tension disc, it's coming out on the needle, and it's going into the bobbin area. So I would get dust in between the tension disc, through the needle, on my material, and in the bobbin area, and that can create a lot of problems, all right? So you don't want any dust on your thread. Well, if you've got your thread hanging on the walls, I recommend making a dust cover for them, okay? If they're going to get hit by the sun, make a darker dust cover for them. You can use material. You can use, I used vinyl and bathroom liner for a shower curtain, okay? And that you can watch. It's on the coming up. Okay, so I've got some bins here, and let me tell you, one of the bins I think you probably would be best to stay away from is these acrylic bins, okay? I'm not really, these bins have the stationary spools in them, but mind you, like this, I can't even get off if I put it in there. I've got one that fits, two that fits, but unfortunately, the top, if you try and put this top on, it's not going to fit. So you're very limited on what you can put in here, okay? I've actually had to put my thread in between the spindles on here because you can't move the spindles, and the spindles are actually goes from thin to thick on the bottom. So I have 3 of these. Obviously I'm not going to get rid of them because I've filled them up, but here's the other thing with them. Let me get this one off of here. This top, okay, you really got to be careful when you put the top on. It's not going to stay on. It doesn't have any latches on the side or anything like that. If I were to drop this, it would shatter, okay? It's this just plastic, okay? So I have to be really careful when I pick these up, and move them around and stuff like that. I don't like the stationary spindles that are in there, okay? Just like in some of the Artbins, you can get, it comes with a tray, and the same thing, you've got stationary spindles. So you're limited on what you can put on this tray. Obviously you can put things in the middle, but that's it. You cannot use cone thread on here. So you're very limited on what you can put on here. And this actually goes in the bin. And then I can just put these things in here any which way because they don't fit on the spindles, okay? What I do like about Artbins, though, is that they come in different sizes, okay? And as you can see, I have dust on the top, but I have no dust on the inside. So you can get Artbins in different sizes, different colors, all right? And they stack. And I have this one. This is actually a bigger one. So you can stack them right there. And they have handles on them. They have a latch to keep it closed and dust free. All right. So those are really nice to have. I like the fact that it comes in different sizes. I don't like the spindle tray. I don't really need that. The other option is you have is a bin like this, which I do like also. This holds all my serger thread, okay? It's got latches on it, and it's perfect height for the serger thread. It's got a handle on it, so it's not going to break because it's all molded in there. So I don't have an issue with that. You can order containers. These are actually sulky containers. Now they hold the smaller spools, and it comes, you can pull out the spool just like that, and you can get a lot in here, okay? You're limited to size, all right? But they do have one that holds regular spool size, okay? Anything above that, you're not going to get it in here. Now, I do have one. This is, this will hold, you wouldn't believe what this is either. This is the funny part. This is actually, we purchased out of a toy store, okay? This is a car bin. My son used to put his Hot Wheels in it, all right? So I can get 2 each threads. I can put little threads in here, just like that. Or I can just put one, the bigger spools in here. These are actually smaller spools. You've got this side, but you also have, flip it over, you've got a whole nother side, just like that. Okay, so finding a bin that works for you, that'll be the hardest thing, okay? Deciding which one you like. Here, I have drawers for all my quilting thread, which is in the other room. So I only brought one drawer in. Perfect size for the quilting thread. I just pull the drawer out. I can see the colors, see what I want to pick out. So the only one I really have a problem with was the plastic one, just because of the fact that if you drop that thing, it's going to shatter. So those are the different bins that I have, plus the spool racks on the wall. Keep your thread nice and clean and out of the sunlight. All right, so stay tuned, and I'm going to show you how to make the thread covers for the wall. Okay? All right, so I'm going to show you how I made these projects, or this project, to cover up my spools of thread. The first thing we need to do is we need to measure our spool rack. And you need to measure the spool rack with the spools on it, okay? Everybody keeps different sizes of spools, or maybe you have cone thread on it. That has to be accounted for when you're measuring, okay? So what you want to do is you want to take your ruler and you want to measure from the bottom of where that spool is sitting on. All right, there's, you know, you've got the little piece of wood. So you'll measure from the bottom of that to the top of the spool, okay? Write down that measurement, all right? And this is going to be your side. Okay, now both sides should be the same unless you have a different size spool on each side. All right. If you're doing cone thread, you want to measure to the top of that cone, just like you're going to measure to the top of the spool. Then what you want to do is you want to measure out from the wall to the top of that spool. Okay, that is going to be your top. Now you want to make sure you go all the way to the wall because of the bracket that's back here. Okay, that bracket is going to come into play when we finish it up. All right, so you're going to do the sides, you're going to do the top, you're also going to do the width of it. Whoops, my Velcro. Where'd this piece come from? Okay, I got Velcro stuck to everything. Okay, so you want to do the sides, the top, you want to do the width, and the length. How long do you want it to hang in front? Now, we're going to go over to the cutting table, and I'm going to show you how I did this, and then we'll come back and we'll do the sewing of it. All right, so measure the top, the length, the sides, and the width, and write those numbers down. Okay? All right, let's go over to the cutting table. Okay, so I used vinyl and a store-bought shower curtain. Okay, you need to decide what you want to use. You can also use sheer fabric or cotton fabric if you want to. Either, they all work. Okay, I used the clear stuff because I wanted to see what was under my coverings. Okay, I've had this for years. In fact, I found it when I was cleaning. So this is just vinyl, pretty sturdy. Okay, and then the shower curtain you can just buy at the store. Let's go over the shower curtain. When you get the shower curtain and you take it out of the package, all right, it's going to be all folded up, but your ends are all going to be different levels. So all I did was I took it, straightened it up the best way I could, and sliced off the end to make everything even. Okay. Now, before you start cutting, all right, this is really important. Open up your shower curtain, all right, and take out the magnets. Okay, you don't want to be slicing through the magnets. All right, and you can just slice a little hole, pull the magnet out. I think there was 3 in this one. You can also, if you want to, open it up and cut off the ends parts. Okay, because you're not going to be using that. This is a different color. I didn't use it. Once I got the magnets out, I went ahead and you're going to add your side, and your width together. All right, so mine ended up being 24. So once I got the magnets out, I just went ahead and I cut it 24 inches. All right, got rid of the excess, and then that's when I opened it up and cut out the 2 parts. This is the top, and then this is the bottom. I just sliced those off, okay, because you're not going to need them. At that point, I opened it up just like this, and I cut it. Now, remember, it's not mine was only 24, so it only went to the top. This is where you want your top and the length. So my top is 4 inches, my length was 14 inches, so I cut it across at 18 inches. Okay. Now you will have to decide, do you want to embroider on it? All right. If you do not want to embroider, you can skip this section and go right over to where I start sewing. Okay. So this is my, I've already embroidered on it, so just ignore it. This is the sheet I cut. Okay. I have my width and I have my length. Now, I found that embroidering on it, poly mesh stabilizer, the aqua stabilizer, work the best. Okay. I tried film, I tried tearaway. Those did not work. Cutting out with tearaway, I ended up cutting a hole in it, just trying to get the tearaway off. That didn't work. So use the aqua mesh when you do this. The other thing is, I would do, you're going to have enough in the shower curtain, depending on how many spool racks you have, but I would do a few test outs as far as embroidering them. Okay. I just set these up so that you could see it. When you hoop your shower liner with the aqua mesh, do not hoop it so tight that you could bounce a quarter off it. Okay. You want to have some leeway in here. Okay. So what I did was, once I had mine cut, I folded it in half to find the center. I laid my hoop down, the bottom of my hoop. I can show you that if I could get this off. I centered my hoop on my cutting mat so that I could see the line right in the middle of it. All right. Put down my stabilizer, folded this in half so I could find the middle, laid that down so that it matched up. Now you'll have to decide where on your shower curtain or your vinyl you want your wording to be. Remember, you have to come down, I would say come down at least 6 inches. If your measurement, mine is 4, I'm going to come down further than that. You don't want to be so close to the top that it ends up in your stitching line. So come down a little bit further on there. Fold your project in half so that you can get it in the hoop. Line it up with hoop. Just smooth it out like that. Put your hoop on it. I'm going to start at one end, smooth it out, and then just push it down. Okay. You can get out some of the bubbles, but don't yank it. Don't just, you know, yank it in there. Okay. You don't want to do that. All right. Now, remember when you're cutting it, this is important. Okay. Your width is going to consist of side, width, side. Okay. Your length is going to consist of your top and then your length. All right. So when you finish, you've got your width, contains the sides, you've got your length, it contains the top. Use the poly aqua mesh to do the embroidery. Now, I was able to hoop the vinyl also and hooped the shower curtain. If you have a magnetic hoop, you can do it in there also. Okay. Okay, so we've talked about the embroidery. When it is done, when you're done embroidering on it, all right, just rinse off the stabilizer, which is what I really liked about this. I rinsed it off so that I couldn't see it in between all the letters. Put it between 2 towels, patted it all dry, and then I let it sit for the night, okay? So that it would completely dry. And I'll tell you why you need to really let it sit for the night so it can completely dry over at the sewing machine. Okay, so let's head on over there. Okay, so now we're getting ready to sew this. Now, some things that you're going to need. Clips, okay? We don't want to pin this because it's just going to put holes in it. All right, a Teflon foot. Okay, I found that was the easiest to work with. This is my Bernina 770. So I used a Teflon foot, and I have an 80-12 needle in here. It was just what I had in, so I used it. It worked. That was fine with me. Okay, so when you go to fold this to sew, if you've embroidered on it, make sure that you're doing it on, you're folding into the wrong side. You don't want to fold it on the other side and then your sides are coming out like this and there's your embroidery, okay? If you're not embroidering on it, you really don't have to worry about it. You're still going to fold the sides anyways. Now, the reason why I said to let your embroidery dry overnight is because when you go to sew it, you don't want the wet and stickiness from the embroidery hindering you from going through your machine like this, okay? So what we're going to do is on the wrong side, we're going to make a fold that is to your side. So mine measured at 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and move my fold to 4 inches and I'm going to clip it. No pins. There are no pins in this. Just like this. And it slides around a lot. So, you know, you just got to work with it. You may have to take it apart and do it again. That's not too bad. I'll do this side again. I already did one side, so I'm not too concerned about it. It's still going to work. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and sew it. So what you want to do, I'm just using a straight stitch. I'm positioning the shower curtain at the edge of the Teflon foot. You want it to have it go about 1/4 over. Grab my thread, which has completely disappeared. And it's in the back. Okay. And then I'm going to go up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and back stitch. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and sew up the side. Just like this. When you get to the end, you're going to backstitch again and then cut your thread, and then we'll go ahead and do the other side. Clip your threads because you don't need them anymore. Okay, now we'll do the other side, and there's 2 ways that you can finish this. Let me do this side. Remember to backstitch when you get to the end. And then we will cut it. Okay, now, when you're doing your top, make sure that when you lift it up, you can read it if you've embroidered on it, okay? What you're going to do is fold that in. Hang on, I got a big thread here. Okay. Fold that in. Mine's going to be 4 inches, so I'm going to fold it into 4 inches. And what I did to make this easier was I actually marked it on here versus using a clip. I don't have a pen over here. I just marked it with a pen just so I knew where that 4 inches was at. Okay, so you've got 2 ways of finishing it. At this point, if we didn't sew this part right here, what you would do is lift this up, okay, where that 4-inch mark is. You're going to lift up this side, punch in so that you have a little wing here, and then you're going to go ahead and sew the side to the top. Okay, now if you decide that you want to sew the top, you're going to fold this in just like this. Sew across the top, and then do the same thing. Push this in and bring up the side. Okay, I'm found that not sewing the top is probably going to be your best bet, and the reason is, let me show you. So these are 2 that I did where I actually sewed the top, okay, right across here and went all the way around. Now ignore the dowel that's in here because I stopped using those. This is going to be a catcher for dust. Okay, it gives it a nicer look versus not having it, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what, if I have a thread, let's say I stick a spool up there or something, it's really not going to fit in there that great. And I didn't like the idea of dust catching up here and then me trying to get it off because now there's a lip on here. Okay, so once you have it up like this, okay, we're going to bring up the side, and they may not reach, okay, which is fine because you've already taken off. You've got a your seam is right here. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the side at that 4-inch mark, bring up the inside so that I have my little wing on the inside, and I'm going to bring it all the way to the edge. And then what I'm going to do, you fold it down, and I'm going to sew those 2 pieces together. Now it's going to go like on an angle, but that's okay. All right. I'll bring it in here. We'll give it a few stitches. And just stay on the sew line that you already did. I haven't ripped any of mine, so it's fine. I'm going to sew it all the way to the edge of the side, back stitch, and cut it. And we're going to do the same for the other side. Remember, these are dust covers, okay? Practice making them. You may go through a few of them before you get the one you actually, you know, like. I've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I've got a really big one that I'm making. I'm just going to fold this over, catch it on the end. Grab my thread. Now you're not going to be able to get all the way close to it because you're going to run into the side panel, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So there we go. Okay. Once you're done with it, you want to get the wings out. Now, this is extremely important. When you're cutting the wings, I would advise pulling it out just like this. That way you don't snip. And I did. I actually cut one of mine. Cut it, I don't know. You don't have to get it really close, but just cut out those little wings. I have a piece of thread here. So I'm going to cut that out. Fold it over. And snip off that wing. Okay, that was going in the trash. Not on the floor. All right, so it's done. Okay. Just like that. So I've got another thread cover. Now, the easiest way to put this up is to use Velcro. Okay, I have found that, excuse me, works better than anything else. Okay, so on the back of your racks there are 2 posts that hang up. Take a piece of Velcro, put it on those 2 posts. Okay, now here's my advice: glue it on there, super glue it on there, because the sticky stuff, even though this is like heavy duty industrial strength, the sticky stuff on the back of the Velcro for some reason doesn't hold on the wood. So I did try using a dowel to hold the cover on, but the dowel's not heavy enough. Okay, it works, but I didn't really like it that much. I wanted the stuff to be able to stay. And then if you use Velcro, you can just take it off if you need it, or if you reached up under it and got thread, using the dowel just knocks the whole thing off. So I ended up using Velcro, and then all you have to do is you'll measure where it's at, where that Velcro is at on your thing. We're going to put the Velcro on. And getting the sticky stuff off, getting the back off of this thing, I think that was the worst. Because I just couldn't get it off. Get the back off. Got it. Nope, didn't get it. There. I think I got it now. Okay. So measure where the posts are on your rack, and then you're going to go ahead and put the Velcro on there. And once you stick the Velcro on here, it's going to stick. Okay. And we'll do the other side if we can get the sticky back off. All right, there we go. Okay, so I got the sticky back off. Now I'm going to move the camera. Put it up here. I have one already hanging up. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to climb on my cabinet. Just like this. Okay. So you'll have to measure it, where it's going to go. And that one's on. Okay, let me climb off my cabinet here. Okay. Hi. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, the sunlight and the dust are not friends to your threads, okay? Keep your thread covered so that it doesn't get any dust on it, and keep it out of the sunlight. As you can see behind me, these two spool racks get hit by the morning sun, and I've used a darker color to cover them. Now, the sun's not there very long, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, okay? I don't have to worry about them, okay? Keep them covered, keep the dust off. Remember when I showed you this earlier, okay? This is going to be a wasted spool of thread, all right? You don't want to run this through your machine like it is, because of the fact that not only is it going through your needle, but it's going through those tension discs, and that needle is going into your bobbin. So you're getting dust in your tension disc, you're getting dust on whatever fabric you're using, and you're getting dust in your bobbin. We don't want to wreck our machines because a spool of thread was full of dust. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. If you could, please like this video and subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll be ready for the next vlog that comes out. And you can share this video too. Just go ahead and hit that share button. As always, to all the embroiderers, sewers, and quilters out there, have a great day stitching.